Yesterday we started our look at the first commandment, and I said that it needs to be first, that we need to start with God and everything unfolds from there. Today I want us to think about the claims God makes for exclusive worship. So a literal translation of the first commandment might read something like this. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before my face. In other words, it's not that God is saying that he needs to be first among the pantheon of gods. It's that he's saying, I don't expect to see you worshiping any other thing. No other gods in my view. And of course, his view is everything. So God is demanding that he be God alone. Now, we get a little bit of this. I mentioned I wanted to always sort of pull in a New Testament passage to link to the commandment. And for this, for the first commandment, I'd turn to Romans chapter 1, verse 20 and following. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like mortal human beings and birds and animals and reptiles. Therefore, God gave them over in their sinful desires of their hearts about God for a lot. Let me try that again. Therefore, God gave them over in the sinful desire of their hearts to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worshiped and served created things rather than the Creator, who is forever praised. Amen. So we see a few things here in Romans chapter 1, starting with the idea that you have a God. We all have a God. You may be thinking, well, not me. No. The fact that you're listening to this would suggest that you do think that there is a God, but you may know people that say, no, there is no God. I'm an atheist. I do not believe in these silly, superstitious beliefs, or I'm an agnostic. I'm not sure about this, but I'm not worshiping God. I just want to say, look, what the Bible is saying here in Romans 1 is that we all have a God. We either worship God or, quote, we have exchanged the truth about God for a lie. There's something else that we worship. Those are the options. If you want to contemporize this, at least into the 20th century, first part of the 21st century, Bob Dylan out there, he had that line, you got to serve somebody, right? Everybody is going to serve somebody. There's a sense in which everybody is going to orient their life around somebody, something. Everyone is going to have something that's first place in their life. Everyone is going to worship something. So the question is not, do you believe in God, but what God do you believe in? Or what do you worship? By the way, the Bible never tells us to worship. It always instructs us to direct our worship to God. We all worship. We're wired to worship. And once you start to listen for it, once you start to recognize it, you see people worshiping all the time. He's the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time, the best quarterback ever to play the game. Or did you see her in that movie? She was divine. That car is the most amazing machine ever made. I couldn't live without my cell phone. Whatever it is, these are statements about how our lives are ordered, how our heart is directed. We see people declaring the glory of things all the time. We are worshiping. The question is, what are we worshiping? And is what we are going to worship the God who is God? Is God your God? That's, in one sense, the question. Are you worshiping the God who is God, or are you worshiping something else? Have a good day.